have a handful of lecturers. We have a handful of lecturers that would be teaching you this course. So the very first class we're starting with is the introduction to cryptocurrency, and my name is Isaac Wilson, also known as Uncle Bills, and I am the CMO of Candleweb AI. I also have a handful of years of experience with cryptocurrency and blockchain. I'm also a blockchain educator, among other things. So cryptocurrency may seem quite complex when you're a beginner. It may look like something that is very difficult or something that is just for techies. But when you look at it in depth and you take a closer look, it's a very simple concept that we are already used to. Okay, let me see how I can take notifications off my screen. The chat is popping up. I don't know how to hide that. That is distracting me, but there's no problem. So imagine trying to explain the digital money we have right now, things like our ATM card, digital and mobile transfers to our grandparents. It's going to seem quite complex for them to really understand how this works. And if you should look back in time, let's say the past 20, 30, 40 years, they didn't have the systems of money. Money was a very simple concept. You just have paper, you use it to exchange for goods and services. So today we'll be breaking it down. We'll go back to the history of money, how it started, how it has transformed over time, and how we got to where we are, and what cryptocurrency and blockchain are, and removing all the whole complexities and jargon. Am I very audible, and is my screen visible? Can you see my slide? David, is my slide visible? Oh, all right. Thank you. Excellent. So money have evolved over time. We've had different forms of money. Um, Back then in primary school, they taught us about something called trade by barter. That's called the barter system, where you have goods and services and you exchange it with each other directly. Let's say I have rice and I need some meat. Let's say I need chicken meat. What I'll do is I'll take my rice and I'll look at the type of meat I need, maybe the chicken, then walk around and exchange. Um, I need to put my device on DND, then exchange that rice or that chicken. I would exchange the rice for that chicken. And let's say I have maybe maize and I want to exchange maize and I need maybe beans. I have to look for who have that beans, then exchange the maize for beans. So that was the system of exchange that was existing at that time. Okay. So it wasn't very efficient. There was a lot of problem with that system in the sense that it's not very easy exchanging goods for services. You have to walk around looking for who have what you want, and also the person needs to want what you have to offer. So it wasn't easy. And also it wasn't fair. There wasn't like a standard system of measurement. You can't say, okay, this amount of rice is equal to this amount of chicken. So it wasn't very efficient. We needed to look for a way that we could tie value to very specific things. So that's where we came up with precious metals. For some civilizations, they went directly to precious metals. And for some parts of the world, like Africa, we went to things like seashells, where we were exchanging things like seashells, cowries. They taught us back then that these cowries, which you get from the seas and the rest, were forms of money which you could use. Okay, I'll take a cowrie, I exchange it. You give me what you have, I give you cowrie. Cowrie was seen as a form of money. For some other parts of the world, it wasn't this cowrie. It was things like mirror, things like there were different things people tied value to. Then to some other places of the world, it was things like gold. They had bricks of gold, silver, whatever they tied the value to. It just shows us that value is not really based on the material thing itself. It's based on perception. So other parts of the world moved to precious metals and other forms of storage of money. But this wasn't also very efficient because you had to walk around with lumps of gold or silver or iron or whatever it is in your pockets. It wasn't easy to carry around. it wasn't easy to measure, saying, okay, I have a lump of gold now and I want to buy rice. And let's say you have only small rice. How do I exchange that gold for that small rice I want to get for the rest? So it wasn't efficient. We had to look for another way. What can we do? Then we found a way to start minting these metals into coins, where, okay, we now had these metals. They could take a gold coin, the minting and say, okay, this is one single unit of this currency, or this is one single unit of that. If it wasn't gold, sometimes it was just iron that was minted. Then we now had our coins, where we had things like 50 kobo if we are in Nigeria. We had 1 kobo, 10 kobo, 5 kobo, 50 kobo, depending on your age. Some of us here actually spent those coins, those kobo. Then after that, that also wasn't all that efficient. Things like inflation came into play. Money lose value. You couldn't carry a lot of coins walking around in your pocket. It would be jingling and you just be sounding like you'll be sounding like iron bars while you're walking by, and everybody would know you have money in your pocket, so thieves can easily spot you and the rest. So we had to look for something more efficient. Then, as technology advanced, we now discovered, okay, we could actually print this thing on this paper, which we're using to print our newspapers and the rest. Why not us just make our money also appear in the same form? We issue it out. We have a centralized agency like our bank that can issue out this paper to people, and each unit of it would have value just like our coin. So that was how we came about paper money. We now have our paper bills, which we all know. We have our naira, we have dollars, we have rupees, we have different currencies that we know of in paper form. So after the paper form of money, money became digital. Okay, it moved from this form now into digital form, where we could now start using money online. You could use money now to pay directly from your banking app. You could use your plastic ATM card to pay for online services, buy goods online, and have it delivered at your doorstep. So this is where digital money came into play. Digital money takes many various forms. It could even come in form of your recharge card and airtime, which you recharge to your phone, your prepaid meters, your DSTV, which you recharge and subscribe, and the rest. These are all forms of digital money that came into play. So from digital money, the world progressed to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the next step of digital money. We took it a step further. Like we all know, humans, we keep advancing. There is no stage in time that we say, oh no, the invention is okay. We are done inventing. We are not more inventing anything again. Humanity is done. We've reached the peak. It has never happened. Every single year, new inventions come out. We keep progressing as a race. So that progress has taken us to the stage of blockchain and cryptocurrency. So simply, before I give a detailed explanation of what cryptocurrency is and what blockchain is, basically cryptocurrency is just digital money that isn't controlled by any banks or government. Instead of those having middle agencies and agencies issuing these cryptocurrencies like banks and governments, it is directly controlled by the individuals that are making use of it. So we're going to get further into this, okay? We'll be getting further into it right away. So we've had a lot of things. Cryptocurrency is the future. Crypto is the future of money. This and this. Bitcoin is the future. I believe everyone here, if not everyone, a lot of us have heard about Bitcoin. Who here have heard about Bitcoin? And what do you think it is personally? Okay. I know we have a few experts, a few people with some knowledge, and people who attended some of our past classes. They may have this insight. But have you heard about Bitcoin? And what do you think this is? Let me tell you a quick fun story. When I first heard about Bitcoin, to be honest, that was I can't remember the year though, but let's say around 2014, 15 or so. I actually thought it was some form of digital, some form of physical coin that was made of gold that only very rich people and government officials had. That was honestly what I thought Bitcoin was. Because anytime I saw it on TV or in the news where they mentioned Bitcoin, I would see the Bitcoin symbol on a golden coin. So to be honest, that was all I thought it was. But I've been hearing of it since then. But I never really knew what it was. Okay. So what is Bitcoin? What is cryptocurrency? and why do we think so much of it and think this is the next step of money, this is the future of money. So before we get into that, we'll be talking a little bit about the traditional finance system. Okay, we'll be talking about the finance system which we have existing, what it is, how it operates, and why there's a need for these cryptocurrencies, which I have just mentioned a little bit about recently. So the current financial system we operate with or we use is called centralized system. Okay, centralized, Centralised. For Nigerians here, many of you already know the building you can see on the screen, and it should give you an idea of what we're talking about. The building on the screen is the Central Bank of Nigeria, and we are talking about centralized system of money. So centralized system of money is a money or a system of money or finance that has a central body controlling it, operating it, and regulating it. Example is the central bank. Okay, not just Nigeria, I believe almost every country have their own central banks that issue policies, they regulate the money, they control it, they give laws, and they control the mini or the smaller banks or the retail banks that are operating under it. They give these guys license, they give them rules, they tell them, okay, tax this amount, charge this amount, do this, improve that. So that is a centralized system of finance. We have a central body governing this system of finance. They operate and regulate, and they stand in as the middleman. This has its advantages and also has its disadvantages. Okay, so this system, they stand as the middlemen between you and your money and the third party banks. This system of money is also quite slow. Let's take for instance, I am trying to send money now. I live abroad. Okay, I'm going to tell that story shortly. I'm trying to send money or I'm trying to do something international transactions. Is actually very, very slow. Sometimes it takes days for you to receive international money, especially if you're using something like Western Union. They charge high fees, okay, on transactions, especially if it's international. You also get things like SMS alert, where your bank charges you for SMS alerts. Like today, this morning, I just woke up and saw a debit alert of over 200 naira telling me it's SMS alerts for what? They tell you card maintenance fee, they're charging you every month for maintaining your card, whether you use it or not, you get charged. Um, you also face issues with sometimes block transactions, decline transactions, and the rest. This is what happens in a centralized financial system that we operate in. Okay, so let me give you a simple story and example with John, my favorite character. People from cohort one, do you remember John and Amaka? I am bringing them to cohort two again. So this is John, this nice, handsome gentleman you can see on my screen with his amazing glasses. This is John. Okay, so John lives in, let's say, he lives in Canada. Nigerians are fond of Canada. John lives in Canada and he wants to send $200 to his girlfriend in Nigeria called Amaka. Amaka probably called John and built him and she was like, "Hello, John, I need $200 because I want to change my hair," or whatever it is she needed the money. So John proceeded to the bank to send that money to Amaka's account. When he reached the bank, he sent the money to Amaka. But this is the problem. After sending the money to Amaka on a Friday, he went to the bank on a Friday afternoon. The processing time for that money to arrive is 3 banking days. Okay? So it takes 3 working days for that money to arrive. He sent that money on a Friday, let's say on a Friday afternoon. The bank closes early on Friday at 2 p.m. The bank had to close before they could even process John's transaction. They had to hold that transaction till Monday morning. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That money has not even been touched to send. Then on Monday, they processed the transaction and they sent it. Now they have to wait for those 3 working days before Amaka can even receive her money in Nigeria. Apart from all the other constraints where you face other challenges like charges, where they'll charge you almost up to 10% for international transfer and transactions. You also get issues where transactions are flagged and blocked, especially if it's coming into third world countries, especially third world countries that have faced some financial and security issues. For no reason, the transaction can be flagged, the money would be refunded to John, and you wouldn't even get the money. John is frustrated at the end of the day. He sent money. It's almost 5 days. Amaka haven't received the money. She's on the phone disturbing John. Hello, John. Have you sent the money? John, you're a liar. You didn't send this money. You told me you're going to send the money since on Thursday, on Friday morning. It's already Tuesday, and I have not seen anything. And you like, so these are some of the challenges John faces. And Amaka got tired and left him for someone in Nigeria that was able to send her maybe 300K instantly. She dumped John's ass. Okay, so these are some of the challenges with the traditional system of money that we are facing. Exactly. She dumped John and she went to Musa. So let's move forward. So I have explained the problems we face with the traditional system of money right now. So now, what is cryptocurrency again? The first time I told you it was digital money, blah, 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 not operated by a centralized system and the rest and the rest. So cryptocurrencies are simply digital money that isn't controlled by a central authority like banks and government. Okay? Cryptocurrencies are decentralized. They don't have this centralized body controlling them. They are peer to peer, which means it allows you to transact directly with another person, peer to peer, person to person, wallet to wallet. I can decide right now that I want to send, let's say, $100 to my friend here, David. I want to send it to his wallet. All he needs to do is give me his wallet address. I would carry that $100 from my wallet, put David wallet address, and send that money. And instantly, in a few seconds, that money will move from my wallet directly to David's wallet. I am not going to tell any bank I need permission to send my money. Nobody is going to tell me, oh no, it's a Friday, I can't do this transaction. Nobody is going to tell me, no, this is your transaction limit. You cannot send more than this amount though, because you have not done this and this and this. Nobody is going to tell me, okay, you are sending this amount, come, you have to pay tax. You have to pay transaction charges of so percent. You have to do this. Oh no, you don't have a dollar account. You cannot send dollar. Because you don't have a dollar account, you cannot send dollars. You have to go and meet Aboki and get $100 bill, then come back to the bank. Then after I've gotten that $100 bill, you go and get your birth certificate, you go and get your indigent certificate, you go and get your statement of results from primary school to secondary school. You have to get your national ID card, your passport, your visa, you have to get up to 10 documents just to be able to open a dollar account. You have to visit that bank like 17 times. In fact, there was a time I opened an account to specific banks. I'm not going to mention their name. I had to go there for like 4 times. I couldn't even get a credit card. Sorry, here in Nigeria, we use debit card. I couldn't get a debit card. I went to that bank like 5 times. In fact, one of the banks, I even got tired because when I went there the fifth time, that was where I saw the form I submitted weeks ago. The form was under a pile. They haven't even opened the account. And I got angry and told them I don't want again. The other bank, I didn't collect the ATM card. I had money in those accounts till today. I didn't even open them again. I just left those accounts. It's been over 3 years now. Just to be able to transact, I had to walk around from bank to bank just to get a token. I had to sign many documents, tell them, okay, I am not doing this transaction. I'm not, just to get a dollar account, just to be able to transfer. So can you see some of these challenges? Sorry, I'm talking from a place of you'd know I'm pained. You'd know this feels personal to a certain level, but I'm trying to explain to you and paint a picture of the challenges we face with centralized system of money. Okay, so back to talking about crypto futures, it is borderless. Someone in the United States, someone in Canada, someone in India, someone in China can send me money instantly. I can open a wallet in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, self depending. I can open a wallet in less than 2 minutes, send the wallet address to my friend in India. My friend in India would send me money without limit. There is no limit on it. And I would receive that money in less than 3 minutes. I am done. I have created a wallet, received a humongous amount of money in my account without anybody coming to jack my waist to come and tell me, Oga, where did you get this money from? Or Oga, why are you trying to receive so amount of money? Or okay, you do not have the right to be able to afford this amount of money. Nobody is going to harass you like that. You can send your money, have freedom of transaction regardless of your location, regardless of the amount. So, and also it's very secure. The security is high with crypto transaction. Even though there are, no matter what system is built, hackers have taken it upon themselves as a personal challenge to be able to break whatever system that is built, break the security and breach it. There would always be criminals on the run looking for how they can scam people, steal from people, and defraud people. So we will talk about security also in one of our classes. We'll teach you about security, how to secure your wallet, how to protect yourself in the blockchain space. Okay, so these are some of the features of cryptocurrency that make it so outstanding and amazing, and make it that even governments have been eyeing it like the most beautiful girl on the street. Okay, so these are some of the features that cryptocurrency have. And cryptocurrency have actually transformed the way we transact and we use money, just the way emails changed the way we send messages. In the past, if you want to send a message, we didn't have mobile phones. For some of us that are grandpas here, we didn't have mobile phones in our time. We couldn't just turn in our flip and send a message to our friend and they get it instantly. No, you had to write first of all. You have to even go and first learn how to write. If you don't know how to write, you have to go through the system of learning how to write. You get paper and your pen. You write a full letter. You sit down. You make mistake. You cancel it. Sometimes you have to even tear the paper entirely and start from scratch instead of just erasing and rewriting. You write a letter on paper. After writing the letter on paper, you send your child or you go by yourself to buy an envelope. You open the envelope, you put the letter, you lick it and seal it, then you get a stamp. You have to go to the post office, buy stamp. You put the stamp on the paper, put the address, everything, then send that letter, you post it. Then after some days, after they've gathered all the letters, the postman will now proceed to pack the letters now, or they'll ship it or whatever means that transferring the letter. They will take it to the different locations that letter is meant to go. After it has arrived at those places, then they would now begin to distribute those letters to different places, to PO boxes. So this was how it was. But right now, you can wake up in the comfort of your bed. I can just wake up right now in the class group. I will just post a message. Hi, the class is starting at 7 p.m. today. Hi, sign the attendance for the class. Hi, join the next class. Hi, have you taken your quiz? I can post this and you'll get it instantly. Less than a second, this message will pop up on your phone. You'll see it. So this is the way this transformation have been made by moving from the previous form of how we're posting messages to this digital form right now, where you are even able to take this class. I'm right here in my room, in the comfort of my room, and you are wherever you are right now, and you are getting this message, you are learning, you are seeing my screen. So this is the same way cryptocurrency have transformed money. Whew, I'm enjoying this class. Are you with me? Is everyone with me? Can you hear me? Let me just see some messages pop up on the screen or some reactions or emojis or whatever. Are you with me? Can you hear me? And are you following? Excellent, Chibuzo. Excellent. Excellent, Justina. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. So, how cryptocurrency works. Thank you, Abdul Fatai. I see you. Welcome to the class. All right. We're moving forward. So, how cryptocurrency works, okay? So cryptocurrencies are powered by a technology called blockchain. blockchain. Okay, cryptocurrencies are powered by that technology called blockchain. Excuse me. So, sorry, just trying to take a sip of water. So I do have an example here on my screen where I want to use Google Doc to explain it, but I don't know if everybody here understand how Google Docs work. So I would, yeah, thanks. All right. So I'll just proceed with this example though. I would start by explaining how Google Docs works, just for the sake of people who may not understand how it works. So cryptocurrency, blockchain is a public ledger, okay, like a Google Doc, in the sense that it's like an open book that allows everybody to record a transaction. It records transaction everybody does. Let's say it's like you are running a business, okay, and that business now, let's say five of us in this class are part of the business. We're the ones running the business together, and we have a ledger, a book where we record all the transactions of that business. Five of us join together to create. Let's say the people running the business, it's me, myself, Uncle Bills, David, we have Abdul Fatai, we have Justina, and we have John. We are the ones running the business. And we all have this record book where we record our transactions. So let's say, for instance, it's my shift. I come into the business and we're selling cupcakes. I like cupcakes. We're selling cupcakes in this business. So I'm the one on duty. I come in the morning, I sell some cupcakes, and for every cupcake I sell, I write down what I sold. Okay. I write, okay, I sold a cupcake at 9 a.m. That one cupcake, and I received the amount of 500 naira for that one cupcake. I wrote it down on the book. So this is how this book work. This particular book works. Okay, let's assume this book has one special magic power that anytime I write on the book, it appears, everyone can see that, they can see what I write appear at the same time. Okay, everybody can see it. It would appear. Maybe you have your own copy or you have your own book. It appears in your own copy instantaneously. I sold one cupcake and I received 500 naira for that cupcake at 9 a.m. All of us, all the five of us running that business, is going to appear at the same time in our book. We would see, oh, Uncle Bills sold one cupcake at 9 a.m. It's recorded. And whatever is recorded in that book or in all our books that we are holding, it cannot be erased. You cannot clean it. You cannot change anything. Once you've written it with a biro, it cannot be changed. It cannot be tampered with. It's recorded there permanently forever. And that book is fireproof. It cannot be burned. Even if you put the book in fire, you put it inside bleach, you try to tear it, it cannot be destroyed. That record is permanently there. Then let's say Abdul Fattah comes in later in the afternoon. Let's say Abdul Fattah comes in later in the afternoon, and Abdul Fattah now later sold another cupcake. Another person passes by, they saw the cupcake. It was looking beautiful with strawberries on it and the rest. He now sees this cupcake. He now sold this cupcake to somebody that saw it and liked it, and he received 500 naira at 2 p.m. Abdul Fattah writes it down. I sold a cupcake at 2 p.m. for 500 naira. That record automatically appears in all of us book at the same time. We all see it. Oh, Abdul Fattah sold a cupcake at 2 p.m. Later in the evening, Justina came in. It was her time. She sold another cupcake. Someone passed by, also bought another cupcake at, let's say, 6 p.m. She wrote down that record. It is recorded there permanently. So this is how a blockchain works. By the end of the week now, we gather together, all the five of us. Let's see how our business is doing. And we're now like, okay, today is what day is it? Yeah, today is a Tuesday. What happened on Tuesday? What is our transaction record like on Tuesday? When all of us open our own copies of this book, we flip the copies of the book to Tuesday. We open it, we look at the first line. Oh, at 9 a.m., Uncle Wills sold a cupcake at 500 naira at 9 a.m. The transaction is there, the transaction record is there. Every single person that is a part of that business can see it in their own copies of the book. We go to 2 p.m. What happened at 2 p.m.? David sold his own cupcake at 2 p.m. What happened at 6 p.m.? Justina sold her own cupcake at 2 p.m. So even in 5 years' time, everybody can point back to that transaction. It cannot be manipulated. It cannot be raised. It's not like our electoral process here in our country, where 50 people will vote for one person, and at the end of the day, polling unit that only 50 people showed up to, you end up getting a result of 7,000 people voted at that polling unit. And out of the 7,000 people, 6,750 voted for one person. And the remaining 250 voted for another. So exactly, someone said inconclusive. Or you end up finding out it's inconclusive. Or they'll tell you something happened to the result. Or you finish voting, you went out, you sweat, you struggle, you shout, you argue, you did whatever you did, and they tell you the ballot box was snatched. It was inconclusive. But the rest, these are some of the challenges that you don't face with a blockchain. This is where we have something called transparency. Okay, there's something called transparency. A blockchain is very transparent. I think this should be in the next slide. So what I just explained previously is exactly how a blockchain works. Okay, this is exactly how a blockchain operates. Now, let me come back to the technical side. So a blockchain is a public ledger system where which records transactions. It keeps accurate records of transactions that are transparent, that are secure, and are tamper-proof. Okay, so a blockchain now is the technology itself that powers cryptocurrency. The blockchain now is the technology itself that powers a cryptocurrency. I was explaining blockchain and cryptocurrency to someone this morning. It was this morning, yes, and I gave an example, and let me use the same example for us also, so we would understand what I meant by the blockchain is the technology that powers a cryptocurrency or that powers cryptocurrencies. Let me check my time. So I would stick to, oh, geez. All right, so I'll try to speeding up the class. We started 10 minutes late. I'll try to speeding up while trying to explain everything basic. This is the first class, so I want us to have a solid foundation. That's why I'm going very in-depth. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by a blockchain is the technology that powers cryptocurrency. So let's take, for instance, your television and electricity. I'm going to use these two examples. Okay, I would explain how this works. So your television now, you use it to watch movies, you use it to watch the news, you use it to do whatever it is you want to watch and enjoy yourself. Okay, this is the technology you're enjoying. Like this is what you enjoy, you use, you interact with. Okay, but what powers this television? What is it? Why is it that I can turn on the television and watch whatever it is I want to watch? There's something that is powering it, and that is electricity. Without the electricity behind the thing doing this work, without this technology called the electricity, the basic thing behind it, this television would not turn on. It would not work. I can't change the frequency. I can't do anything with it. It will just be a black box sitting on the wall. So that is how blockchain and cryptocurrencies are. Okay? Blockchain is the technology that cryptocurrencies are built upon. So cryptos are built on blockchain. Let's move forward. So traditional finance versus cryptocurrency, a comparison. I'll be sharing this slide at the end of every week. At the end of the week, we'll be sharing the slides. But the last one, it was at the end of the course, so we'll decide whether we would share everything, all the slides at the end of the course or at the end of the week. And at the end of every week also, we have weekly quizzes. Please and please, when we share the weekly quizzes, just go ahead. It's not difficult. It's going to be from things we taught in the classes. Go ahead, fill the weekly quizzes, complete it, and submit it. And also for the attendances, take attendance seriously so that you would be able to get your certificate at the end of the course. Would be issuing you a certificate you can use on your LinkedIn. You can add it to your certification on your LinkedIn anytime in future. Everyone will see, okay, you have a certificate to show that you completed a blockchain and cryptocurrency course. You can use it to apply for jobs, your CVs, whatever it is. You can share it with your friends. So please and please take the quizzes and the attendance very serious so that you would reap the benefits of the labor you put in. So the differences between traditional and digital finance, I have mentioned, and digital currencies, I have mentioned them. Some of them are controlled, where we have central banks controlling this centralized system of money. But with cryptocurrency, we do not have centralized body controlling them. They are decentralized, decentralize, decentralized. Okay, transactions are slow and costly on the traditional systems like using our banks, but using cryptocurrencies and blockchain, they are fast and low cost. Security, fraud risks, and the security are higher on the blockchain compared to some of our traditional systems because of a technology called cryptography. Okay, you can go and look at what cryptography is. It's simply just encoding things, making things encrypted. Okay, so you can go and look more on that. Accessibility. For the traditional finance system, I have explained that accessibility, going to get your birth certificate, death certificate, indigent certificate, blah 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 before you can even open a bank account, then waiting for the bank, the customer care agents to be in a good mood before they can even start creating your account, or telling you no, you do not have this access to be able to create a dollar account, or you can't send. So you don't face this problem on the blockchain. And then value, we would be talking about value. Blockchain and cryptocurrency, crypto assets have proven to gain value over time, thereby showing that it's a good investment system and you can benefit from it financially. Shortly, okay, we're already on the slide itself, no need for shortly. So let's talk about cryptocurrency as an asset. Cryptocurrency as an asset. Blockchain, crypto, and let's even use Bitcoin, for example. I've been hearing Bitcoin. If you have trending friends, you watch crypto, I say crypto, you watch WhatsApp statuses. If you have friends that are into crypto and are noisemakers, you'd be seeing a lot of news. Oh, this Bitcoin went up today. Bitcoin reached this amount. Bitcoin don't enter 100K. Bitcoin did this. Bitcoin did that. The market went high. The market went low. Deep, you see all memes and emojis. Okay, so what is happening there? Why are they always posting this thing? Why are they always talking? And what is this thing they're saying that we don't even understand? So cryptocurrency have proven to be an asset over time, and this is why when Bitcoin came out many years ago, when Bitcoin came into existence, sorry, I'm drinking water to clear my throat before I continue preaching. Yeah. So when Bitcoin came into existence, the value was as low as $1. It was even lower than that. Zero point, some people got Bitcoin at around $0.35 per Bitcoin. 0.35, $0.1. $1. In fact, many people got it for free. The people who started, like the people who knew about it early, many people got it for free. Okay, this thing called Bitcoin. When it started trading as low as $1, people were buying Bitcoin for $1. Then all of a sudden, this is 2025. And as of this evening, I got notification not long ago that one Bitcoin is $113,000 for a single Bitcoin. Please, if you didn't hear me, listen to me well. What I'm telling you, people got for free. What I'm telling you, people bought at $1, $5, $10. It is selling at $113,000 per Bitcoin. Please, if you have a calculator, everybody have a phone now. I don't want to distract you, but you like money. If you are like me, you like money. I know you're already punching your calculator there. Omo. Justina said Omo. Yeah. So please, and please punch your calculator. 113,000 multiplied by Naira to dollar exchange rate right now is around 1,500 Naira to a dollar. So do 113,000 times 1,500. That's the price of a single Bitcoin in Naira or in your local currency, whatever country you're from. Calculate it. So please, if you've calculated it, I can't reach my calculator right now. So just put the amount in the chat section. It's going to pop up on all of our screen and we can see it. So that is the price of a Bitcoin people got for free. That is the price of a Bitcoin people bought at $1, $10. Some people even bought it as high as $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. At any point you have bought it. Exactly, almost 170 million naira. As a Nigerian who works for the government for 30 years, you are a full-fledged government worker. You work all your life. You wake up at 5 a.m., excuse me, go to work, come back under the rain and in the sun. How is that NYC song again? Under the sun and in the rain, and you swim through river to get to work and serve your country and come back. It's going to be just a few percentage of people that would even make up to that amount for the whole time working for the government. So that is the amount people got. That just shows us the value of Bitcoin and how much of an asset it is. We understand investment already. Anyone here, almost everyone here, I believe you must have tried to do at least one thing to make money. If you've not bought land before, trying to buy land and flip it for something higher, you must have at least tried to buy something that is like an asset to make value from it or profit from it. You understand this concept. So let's say I bought Bitcoin. By the way, there are many other cryptocurrencies. I'm using Bitcoin as an example because it is the first cryptocurrency to ever exist. It is the pioneer, the Bitcoin blockchain and Bitcoin asset itself. Okay. So if you understand investment, you would see the potential here. We'll be talking more about it. We have a class on finance, personal finance, and cryptocurrency. We also have another class that would be teaching someone from Candleweb AI, also Geshinen Shandin, is also going to teach you about AI in investing and in cryptocurrency. He's going to teach you how to also apply AI in this. So we have this coming up in the course. Okay, so let's move forward. I think we're almost out of time. Yeah, we have about we have about 10 to 15 more minutes since we started 10 minutes late for the introduction. So that just shows us how much of an asset cryptocurrency is and the amount of value we can get from it. So Onions Man in the next class is going to tell us in depth, is going to teach us more about blockchain, the origin of cryptocurrencies, and somebody called Satoshi Nakamoto. You know the person is not Nigerian from the name already, or whoever it is, whether it's a person, a group of people. But Satoshi Nakamoto, if you've not heard that name before, mark it in your head and tune in for the next class on Thursday at the same time, 7 p.m. Somebody called Onions Man is going to break everything down for you. So the future of finance, cryptocurrency, and why it matters. So financial inclusion, especially in Africa and in third world countries, many people are left behind unbanked. You can't easily access financial systems. Example, I gave the example with trying to open a dollar account and everything they will make you pass through, all the hoops you have to jump through, and you even have to dance traditional dance for themselves before they even decide to open a dollar account for you sometimes. So financial inclusion, you can just go on your Play Store, install a crypto wallet, set it up in 2 minutes, receive international funding, and you are already banked and making money online. Okay, so it removes that whole financial boundary. It's faster, it's cheaper, and also you do not need anyone regulating you and pushing you around. So let me just bring up some myths and some common some very common rumors we hear about crypto is a scam or crypto is for scam. At the beginning of the class, during the introduction, my good friend and our CEO and founder at Candleweb AI, David Mogaji, he mentioned something called CBEX. That was a platform. To be honest, CBEX even came and left. I didn't even know what it is because that kind of thing no even crossed my path. I've already understood blockchain and crypto to a level that information like that, even if they're passing it around, people will even be afraid to come and bring that kind of rubbish to you because you have the knowledge and the foundation. Okay, so yes, there are scams if you are not knowledgeable, if you don't know how to secure yourself, and the rest. You can fall in for malicious scammers and the rest, and for schemes and the rest. That's why it's very important you are taking a class like blockchain basics for the curious, where we teach you about this. But crypto and blockchain is not just scams. In fact, it's not even designed for that purpose. Okay, it's a very clear, transparent, and amazing system you are going to enjoy and love, especially if you fall in love with it, like me and my team here at Candleweb. So no, crypto is not for scams. It's a very legit and amazing system. Crypto and blockchain, or crypto is not real money. At the beginning of the class, I told us about barter system. I told us about trade by barter. I told us about how they were exchanging cowries or seashell. You go to the sea, you pick up shell, you exchange it as money. In fact, if I even want to take it a little bit darker, in the past, they even exchanged some of our ancestors for mirrors and for umbrellas and for gunpowder. For gunpowder, for mirror, umbrella, somebody will catch his fellow human being and sell him. And they are telling me crypto, a system, is not a system that is accepted globally. Even countries are adopting it. Countries like the US that are heavily pushing that, trying to open blockchain reserves, crypto reserves as part of the official country's money reserve. Countries are not just saving up gold anymore. They're not just saving up precious metals and mineral resources. They're beginning to hoard Bitcoin. If you understand what is going on right now, the way the world is rushing to, everybody's trying to buy a piece of this Bitcoin and keep for himself. And you're telling me it's not real money. Stay there. The children will ask you, uncle, auntie, grandma, grandpa, what happened when people were buying Bitcoin, or where were you when people were rushing cryptocurrency, learning about it, investing, growing, and the rest. Okay, so don't be left behind. It's actually real money. The world is going to catch up. We've been saying this thing since about 2020 when I started teaching blockchain to people. Governments, people, and everyone would accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The whole world is going to get on board. You are still early on this technology, so take and make the best advantage of it. Don't let blockchain basics be the end of it. Don't come and take the class, then keep your certificate or post it on LinkedIn and forget about it. There are numerous opportunities in this space to make money, and you'll be exploring them throughout the course of this session with Candleweb AI. And also, it's too late to invest. That's another myth. It's not too late. It's never too late. If you're saying it's too late to invest, let's look at land. Some people bought lands at some people where their family houses are built. They, their fathers probably bought that land for as low as 100 naira, 500 naira. I know a friend who told me his father bought the land where the current family house is standing on at 20 naira. If you want to buy that piece of land at that current location where it is, you'd be paying nothing less than 4 million naira for that land. But that person bought it at 20 million naira. Does it mean it's too late to still buy land? Does that mean it's too late? It is not. This technology is early. It is not too late to invest. It is not too late to um start exploring investment opportunities. Okay. So cryptocurrency is already being used. I've already explained everything here. The only thing I've not talked about is gaming and Web3, but it's already used for remittances, for paying and transferring and transacting across border. It's used for investment and the rest. So the blockchain technology itself, it doesn't just stop at cryptocurrency and money. There are many other things that are happening on the blockchain. There are things called digital assets, NFT, metaverse, and the rest. We have a class coming up by Abel Goji. He's going to be teaching you about solidity, smart contracts, and he's also going to be teaching about real world assets, and he's also going to be teaching about tokenization. This is where you'd see some practical uses of blockchain, and that is just beyond cryptocurrency and money. Whew. All right. So, summary. I have taken us through the traditional finance system, the challenges we face with the traditional system. I have explained what cryptocurrency, decentralization, the advantages it is. I have talked a little bit about Bitcoin, the origin and the opportunities that lie behind this technology. And I have let us know that cryptocurrency is not just a hype. It's already solving real world problems, bringing real opportunities. Emphasis on the opportunities. The opportunities plenty. Yapa. Na something wey you no suppose miss at all. Don't miss the opportunity. Don't take blockchain basics. I'm saying it again. Don't take blockchain basics and just talk the certificate aside. There are many ways you can use this to earn, to build yourself, and also build a career out of it. Don't leave the knowledge there. There are hundreds of career opportunities that this course can open for you. This course is just like we're opening the door. Come in, come and look at this technology, then move forward with it. Go on, build careers, go on, invest, go on. So cryptocurrency and blockchain brings a handful of opportunities. And it's really amazing that I have all of you here for this first class. And I am hoping to see you all in the next class and see you in the community. We have a lot of things we do in our community. We teach, we educate. We also have another series of course which we call AI Fundamentals for the Curious. We just finished the last AI Fundamentals cohort before we came to this one. So where we teach AI from the fundamentals. We've all seen the buzz and hype around AI. Okay, so we have an AI fundamentals course. We also have other initiatives that we are doing to teach and educate our fellow Africans. Okay, so yeah, I told the story of John. This is the end of the class. I told the story of John and the challenges he faced with Amaka, his girlfriend, and Musa can't if John babe leave him. So John verse, he can decide say he want take blockchain basics for the curious. More we teach him about blockchain, more we teach him about cryptocurrency, and main can learn how he go take leverage this money now, take improve in life, mean take and use and do better thing with in life. So John don't take blockchain basics for the curious finish. We can't give am certificate. They see him big head here. John get big head, but the head brain dey inside sha. So he decide to take this course. We give am certificate. He carry the certificate, go LinkedIn, go post am. He don't get job, he don't build career, he don't make money. So then start him family. He don't get better woman when no leave him again because of saying no send $200. I been send $200, you know, alright. Him can't even get in family. Him don't born like plenty children, keep for side with big head everywhere. So that brings me to the end of this class. It's amazing talking with you and sharing my knowledge. So please and please make the best of this. And I would be opening the comments. I'll be opening the class now for questions and answers. So the attendance sheet for this very first class, right? We'll be talking about the attendance after the class because I want to walk you all through how you are going to sign it. Okay. I would also make a video guide and post it on the group. The attendance would be live for 24 hours. Where you'd be able to sign this attendance is on our platform, Candleweb AI. When you're accepting your admission, part of the email we told you to create a Candleweb account. If you haven't done that, I would also share a guide on the class group on how you can create your account. I'll share another guide that shows you how to sign your attendance for the class. So now we are moving to questions and answers. And the class have taken quite some time. Okay, I'm right on time. I still even have 4 minutes left because we use some time for introduction. So I am opening the chats now for questions and answers. So please just raise up your hand if you have any question you want to ask. Raise up your hand and I will be attending to you. And me and David, it's not going to be me. I have my Agak Pata here with me, David, who would also be asking. So just use the hand raise icon. Let me exit the slide. Yeah. So just raise up your hand and we would be attending to you and answer your questions. So please just raise up your hand using the hand raise icon. Okay, David, you can unmute yourself, David.
Yeah, thank you so much, Isaac. That was a wonderful and insightful class. So I would like to add a little bit to what Isaac said, right? About the whole thing he said about it not being late for you to get into blockchain or crypto or whatever that has to do with blockchain. So I'll share a little bit from my own experience. I got into crypto, I think that was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, right? Through a friend. Then we were doing Dash meetups and a lot of all that, right? At the time I got into crypto, Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin was still about the 150,000 naira then. That's for one Bitcoin.
Jesus.
And I didn't know that Bitcoin was ever going to get this big, right? To be very honest, if not, I would have dropped out of school and then used my school fees to buy Bitcoin and maybe now go back to school. But I didn't know it was going to be this huge, right? And so for everybody I spoke to then, I had uncles, aunties, I always spoke to them because then I was a Bitcoin, I was a crypto educator. I'll tell them, okay, buy Bitcoin, right? And they will tell me 130,000 is a lot of money, 150,000 is a lot of money to just buy something and just keep it there. That was the excuse they were always giving. And then I told them that you don't have to buy one Bitcoin, right? Just like the Naira has the Kobo, the dollar has the cents, Bitcoin has Satoshi, right? But for every single time I told them, they always gave an excuse. Now, about how many years have passed? I think about 10 years or thereabout has passed. And now Bitcoin is at $114,000. If I'm not mistaken. And guess what? They are still giving the same very excuse, right? So what I'm trying to say is that just as Isaac said, you're not too late. In fact, you're very, very early. This is like the early days of the internet, whereby you can just create any site and then make money from it. This is the early days of the internet when it comes to cryptocurrencies, right? So as much as possible, learn what you can learn, invest, not short term. Let me repeat that, not short term. Because one thing I've noticed in the crypto space is a lot of people treat crypto like a Ponzi scheme, like a gambling, right? They want to treat it like Bet Niger. And obviously they'll lose their money the way they lose their money in Bet Niger. But one thing you should know is that crypto is also an asset class, right? Just the same way you have stocks, you have bonds, and other commodities. It is the same thing with crypto. So firstly, learn as much as you can, and then invest. If you're someone who is into programming or any of those things, right, you can even go ahead to even do a product that is based on the blockchain, right? And then people would fund it and then use it and all of that, right? So that's all I just wanted to share. Learn as much as you can learn, but just don't learn and dump that knowledge, right? Use it actively to grow yourself. If you're in school or whatever it is you're doing, see how you can start now to start planning for your future when you retire. Don't wait until when you're out of school, you found a job that doesn't give you time and you have a lot of bills piled up. That's when you're now thinking about investing. That's when you're now thinking about your future. You need to start now, right? So this is just all I wanted to share. Um, Isaac, I can see that Greg has some questions. Should I answer this or you go ahead to answer these questions?
All right, please go ahead and answer this question. I will
All
prepare for
right.
the attendance for the rest.
All right. Greg, I can see your hand is up. I don't know if the question you asked in the chat section is the same thing you want to ask. If it's not, or if it is, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Isaac, can you unmute Greg?
Yeah,
Greg Odi, or
yeah,
Odi
Greg,
rather.
you have mic access.
Yeah, Greg, you can go ahead and ask your question. Anyone else who have a question, please indicate by raising your hand or ask in the comment section and would attend to it. No matter how not interesting your question is, trust me, it pays for you to ask regardless. All right, Greg, let me just attend to the question you have here. I don't know if you're having a problem with your mic. So Greg's question is, what fundamentals drive the cryptocurrency market? Greg, are you referring to the price of cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of them?
All right,
All
I
right.
think
All
Greg
right.
is
Yeah, he responded. All right. So
okay.
there are about a few things that drive the price of these assets, right? So firstly, it has to do with the law of demand and supply, right? The law of demand and supply, whereby if there's more demand than there is supply, the logical thing to do is for the suppliers to increase the price of the goods or service that they are rendering, which in this case is Bitcoin. So let's assume it's just you and I, Greg, right? That we have Bitcoin currently in this group. And every other person here, that's the remaining 32 people, want to buy Bitcoin. Of course, you and I were not going to sell our Bitcoin at $114,000, right? We'll most likely sell at 150 or 130, right? And then anyone who can afford it would then be able to buy it. That is one. But if reverse is the case, whereby there is more supply than demand, so let's assume every other person in this call right now wants to sell their Bitcoin, but it's just you and I that want to buy Bitcoin. What would happen is there would be a competition amongst everybody here who wants to sell their Bitcoin, right? Some people might need cash urgently more than others, right? And the only logical thing they can do for them to be attended to, or for them, for their Bitcoin to be taken from them, that's you and I buying from them, would be for them to reduce the price at which they are selling at, right? So most of the things moving the price of these assets is perceived value, right? Is how people perceive the value. And now we have a lot of institutions coming into crypto, right? You have the likes of Vanguard, BlackRock with their ETFs, right? That's exchange traded funds, right? This all of these things is creating much more demand for Bitcoin, right? That's aside from countries like the US having an alternative treasury, right, where they want to hold Bitcoin, Ripple, and the rest of them. So a lot of these things are part of the things that are driving demand and then the price, right? But there is no single entity anywhere that is deciding that this is the price of Bitcoin today. As I said, it is perceived value. And because of the fact that Bitcoin has a fixed number of supply, right, the more people have it, the more the adoption, the more the price goes up. A lot of people have projected that Bitcoin is going to even get to $1 million for one, which I also believe that to be true, right? So as I said, everybody's still early. So yeah, as I said, it's basically perceived value. So does anyone have any other question?
All right, let me check the comments. Abdul Fatai, he asked a question. How are we sure the future holds crypto trading? Okay, how are
Mm,
we sure the future holds? Okay, I believe his question is about how are we sure the future, or there's still going to be crypto or blockchain in the future? The future is bright for blockchain and crypto. So from my own perspective, the amount of acceptance and adoption we have seen recently, especially the last 2 years when it comes to blockchain and crypto, it's something that have gone from a concept and something that we have rumored. Like in the past 5 years, 5 years ago, we were saying blockchain is coming, crypto is coming, and mass adoption is coming. Okay, it is actually happening right now. Like what we've talked about, countries even creating blockchain, even creating Bitcoin and Ripple and other cryptocurrency reserve, where these countries are accepting, and not only accepting, they are willing to keep or buy and hold some of these cryptocurrencies in store together with other assets that have held solid value over time, like gold. When you look at countries, what they normally hold over time, or one thing that have always held value over time is gold. You notice that countries are always heavy on buying, storing, keeping gold. So now, these countries that have always been eyeing gold, rushing gold, gold has always been something that have had value over time forever. You notice that they are now beginning to turn their eyes towards crypto heavily. Institutions, banking sectors, institutions, financial bodies are also accepting cryptocurrencies and integrating it. There's also something called ETFs, where they even allow these institutions to come in and buy Bitcoin and other solid cryptocurrencies and also trade them for traditional investors. This is something that is going mainstream. And if you should look at this trend and pattern that has been forming recently, you would know this is something that has passed the stage of it being just a fad or a buzz or a hype. From the kind of people that are coming into play, the fact that governments are adopting it, the fact that policies are even coming into place. Even Nigeria recently, as of some weeks ago, is not even up to a month, Nigeria even brought out policies where they would be taxing citizens on their crypto transactions. So this is showing you that this is something that have come to stay. It is no longer something that has just been rumored like in the past years or something people were just doing. Governments are adopting it, institutions are coming into play, and it is something that is going mainstream. And from the trend and what is currently happening, to be honest, I 100% believe is something that has a very bright future. And like we said earlier on, we are still early. We are still early to this. All right. Thank you. I hope I answered your question well. And David, do you have any other things to add before we go to the next question? I think we'll just take like two more questions.
Yeah, I think you've said everything. To be honest, I think the future still has crypto and blockchain in it, especially blockchain. So one thing I've noticed is that when you hear blockchain, a lot of people just think first of all crypto, right? So crypto is not the only application of blockchain technology, right? There are a lot of people that are using blockchain technology when it comes to data management, um, certificate issuing, a lot of other things, like a whole lot of other things. The course that I just concluded at Techie Jones, where I taught the students there how to create blockchain-based application using Solidity. That's another aspect of blockchain, right? Where you're creating decentralized applications that people can use, right? Isaac mentioned the whole out of whack voting system that we have in a lot of African countries, right? Now, with blockchain technology, we can literally eradicate those problems. But the question is, are we going to do it, right? And also, if you look at the current market capitalization of the entire crypto markets, you would believe or you would agree with me that crypto is not going anywhere anytime soon, right? Because the total market valuation of the crypto market is in trillions of dollars, right? So except that entire capital is wiped off the entire market, that's when crypto is going to be non-existent. And that is not even possible because why? It is totally decentralized. No single person holds even 50% or even 20 or 30% of the Bitcoin in the world, right? You always see that it is kind of decentralized. It might be a country holding, but it's not a single institution, right? And even beyond Bitcoin, you have a lot of high cap assets out there as well. You have Ethereum, you have Solana, you have XRP. I mean, just name it. You have Litecoin. So crypto is not going anywhere, right? Anytime soon. In fact, as a matter of fact, I think it's going to continue into the future so long as the internet continue to exist. Because one of the major reasons why a lot of people adopted crypto quickly is people are looking for, okay, what is the one currency that we can use on the internet to pay for goods and services, right? And I mean, you hardly see anyone these days that don't even have a smartphone, or that is not on TikTok, or that is not on WhatsApp or any of these other platforms, right? So long as the internet is available, there will always be crypto. It might move from what it is now, right? Maybe due to quantum computing and some other advanced technologies that would disrupt things in the future, but there will always be crypto. So I think that answers that question. Faith asked the question. He said, in terms of trading, is the future forex or crypto trading? To be honest, that's kind of hard to tell currently, right? But for me, I think it might just be merged. It might just be merged over time. But for now, it's hard to tell because the forex market is an entirely different market on its own. Crypto is an entirely different market on its own as well. It's just like you asking if the future is stocks or crypto. So it's kind of hard to tell. But I see much more funds flowing into crypto more than the forex market over time because of the fact that no single person really owns the crypto market. Unlike when it comes to forex, there are a lot of institutions in the forex market that already have like so much domination when it comes to that market. So for me, I'll lean more towards crypto, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have forex trading in the future.
I noticed some platforms recently are also they also begin to offer both forex um and crypto trading. They
Oh
begin
yeah,
to provide both services. But
yes,
I'm
yes. I
also
think I think
totally
some of
leaning
this,
towards crypto.
yeah, I think a lot of these MT5 platforms, is it MT5 or MT4 they call them? They're already providing some of those already. Babatunde Nehemot, I can see your hand is up. Isaac, please unmute Nehemot so she can ask her question. I know that name. Yeah, Isaac, please unmute.
Right? You have mic access. You can unmute yourself now and speak.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Good
Yes,
evening,
you're
Naimo.
audible. Good evening.
Okay, so Mr. David, I know you. I'm one of your students in Techie John, so that is where you know me from.
Aha, that explains it. Welcome. It's good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you. So I just quickly want to seek clarity on what you said about still investing in blockchain or cryptocurrency at this stage. For example, if I'm not mistaken, I think you gave an example of Bitcoin, how it was still like affordable when you got started in blockchain development, and how you were
Mhm,
telling your families to get it, but they refused and all that. So
mhm,
first of all, I would like to seek clarity on what you really mean by investing in crypto. And then secondly, I feel like, well, with my own little knowledge, like, will you still advise buying Bitcoin at this stage? And why I'm asking that question is, for somebody that like maybe bought Bitcoin at maybe at a $10 price, that person would have made a lot of profits now. But I feel like if you buy Bitcoin now, before you can make 2x of the amount you invested in buying Bitcoin, then the current price of Bitcoin must have doubled before you make that amount. And I feel like that growth might not be as exponential. Like, for example, now let's say you buy maybe let's say $1,000 of Bitcoin, and then before
mhm,
you can get like maybe $1,000 back, price of Bitcoin must have doubled. And I feel like before that growth, like before Bitcoin can attain that kind of growth, is it like the duration or the waiting, is it like really worth it? And also my other question is, what is your opinion about like Solana? Because in my own little knowledge, I feel like if you want to make like the kind of money the people that invested in the early stage of Bitcoin made, what somebody should be looking at is buying coins that are still really at that should I say affordable like that, still with maybe like $100, coins that are not at the stage of Bitcoin yet, basically. So that is my question. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you for that question. That's a wonderful question. So, firstly, um, I would like to address what you said about if someone should invest $1,000, right? If it's advisable, and then the duration that they have to wait before they can actually make a profit. So, one of the things I mentioned earlier was don't treat crypto like gambling. And this is one thing that, um, with my decades of experience in this space, I have seen people do a lot of that. In fact, I won't even lie, right? During my early days, I I handled crypto the same way, right? But I've come to realize that crypto or any other form of investment favors those that wait. So an example is this. If you should take 2 million naira, right? Let's give that as an example. You have 2 million naira now, and then you take 1 million naira to buy a piece of land, and you use the other 1 million naira to buy Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency of your choice. This is one thing I've noticed with individuals. I don't know if it applies to people from other countries, but I've seen it with a lot of Nigerians and Africans generally. One thing you would see is that the same person bought a land for 1 million naira and bought crypto or Bitcoin. Let's say Bitcoin worth 1 million naira. Now that person would go somewhere and keep the documents for the land and forget about it for years, except maybe they have an emergency that would then warrant them to sell that piece of land. But the same person would be checking their Bitcoin wallets every single day to see if they've made a profit, right? And if they wait a month or two and they haven't seen any profit, they'll be like, Bitcoin is shit. That guy lied to me. And then they'll sell. Investments don't work that way. Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Solana, whether it's stock or anything. In fact, currently, I'm reading a book which I'd recommend for all of you here. If you're a reader, I'll highly recommend the book. The title of the book is The Intelligent Investor. It was written by Benjamin Graham. He's the mentor of Warren Buffett, right? So, what I'm saying is that crypto is not gambling. It's not Bet Niger that you go pick a club that will play tomorrow, and then while they are playing the match, you're on live scores or something, and then you're checking the current score to know if your game entered or not, and then you now go and cash out your money. No, it's an investment. And investments are supposed to stay years. As at 3 years ago, um, our company lawyer at Candleweb, Victor Orera, he's currently in the US. When he was still in Nigeria, right, then we hadn't really started Candleweb fully. There was a place he was working at in Abuja, and I've forgotten, they were paying one kind of ridiculous amount then. And then he told me, he was like, oh, guy, I've known you for a long time. You've been talking about this whole crypto stuff. What do you advise I do? Then I think Solana was around $24, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then I had bought some Solana. So I told him, okay, guy, buy this Solana. He was like, okay, if I buy it, when should I be expecting profits? I said, I can't tell you that. I said, the only thing I can tell you is buy and hold for years. Reluctantly, he bought Solana worth 50,000 naira. 2 years later, that same Solana is worth about 1.5 million naira. I advised someone else to buy. The person bought for about, I think, 100 and something dollars, and the money became what? I think currently is about almost 3 million naira as at now. Right. So my point is, investments favor those that wait. Before this current bull run that everyone is speculating, Bitcoin was at how much? It was ranging between $60,000 to 40 to 50. How much is it today? Right? So as I said, you have to treat your investments the same way, or you have to treat your crypto the same way you will treat your land investments, your physical properties. It's not a gambling. If you treat it like a gambling, you're going to lose every single time. Ask anyone who has been in the space for the longest. They will tell you one of the major reasons why they have lost money is because they did not exercise patience. As of today, BNB is at I think about $1,000. I saw BNB when BNB, I was holding BNB when BNB was $3, right? $3. I think that was around 2019, 2018 or thereabouts. I was holding BNB. BNB was $3. But I kept, with a lot of exchanges folding and closing down. I was like, are you sure Binance is not going to close? Are you sure Binance is not going to close? And I eventually sold. Now, how much is BNB? Imagine I waited. There is a popular story of a guy that uses Bitcoin to buy pizza. In fact, it's celebrated all over the world. They call it Bitcoin Pizza Day. Go online and check his story. That's the same story of people that did not wait. Right? So sometimes it's not about the current price of the asset. The question is, do you have the discipline to treat it as an investment, and do you have that patience to wait? Of course, Solana is a good project, right? Solana is a good project. But the reason why a lot of people lean towards Bitcoin than other cryptocurrencies is because, at least till now, Bitcoin is still the only truly decentralized cryptocurrency. Solana has a face to it. Ethereum has a face to it. Tron has a face to it. A lot of all these other coins have a face to them. In fact, before Solana, in 2014, I was working with Dash. I don't know if a lot of you know about Dash. Then Dash was the major competitor of Bitcoin. In fact, they said they wanted to overtake Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the question is, where is Dash today? When I stopped working with Dash, Dash was around $1,050, if I'm not mistaken. As at today now, Dash is at, I think, $50 to $70. Right? So even when you're buying, you have to be careful what you're buying. Right? And buying some of this asset is not just buying and keeping. There has to be risk management involved. You have to have a risk management strategy involved, because I mean, you can't just like you buying your land and then you leave your land. Let's say you buy for 1 million naira, you're watching your land depreciate. Let's say there's crisis in that area, a very serious crisis, and then you watch your land depreciate to down to when your land is even 15 naira from 1 million naira. To me, that's not a good strategy. A good strategy would be maybe you sell when it's like 500,000 naira. And then if it goes down to 50 naira, you can use that 500,000 naira, even use 200,000 naira from that money and buy a bunch of lands, right? So my point is, treat crypto as an investment. The way you treat the land that you've bought, treat it the same way. I've held Ethereum, Solana now for the past 4 years or thereabouts. I haven't touched my Solana. I still have a bunch of other cryptocurrencies that I'm holding that I would never touch. And even as high as Bitcoin is, right, I still buy Bitcoin every month, right? I still have a little amount of Bitcoin that I buy every month, because I'm not looking at Bitcoin making me a millionaire or multi-millionaire next month, next year. I'm looking at 10 years from now. If I'm not even looking at myself, I'm even considering like my grandkids. But imagine how much Bitcoin is going to be when I gift my grandchild, let's say 0.00001 Bitcoin. Right? So that's how you have to think when you want to build wealth. You don't treat it like gambling, to be honest. You don't treat it like gambling. And as I said, I would recommend the book, The Intelligent Investor, to everyone. If you read this book, you would see that every single time they mention investments, in fact, the minimum amount of duration I've seen in this book for any investment is 3 years. A lot of them, you're seeing 5 years, you're seeing 10 years. I understand that, of course, you have money problems, right? You would always have money problems. Trust me, you're always going to have money problems. but you have to discipline yourself enough that you have something put aside for investments, which that's something I'm going to talk more about during my own lecture, which I'll be talking about personal finance, right? But I think this answers your question, Nahomat. So
All right then. Thank you very much, David. I think we wouldn't be taking any more questions. We would be having further classes. Our next class is on Thursday, the same time, 7 p.m. And after this class, I'll be talking more about the attendance and I'll be sharing a guide on the community. It's going to be open till tomorrow at 6 p.m. You'd be able to sign your attendance for the first class. Then for other classes, we'll be limiting the attendance time to 1 hour. So this first one is for us to just get started and get familiar with the process. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. And if you still have further questions, I think we'll still have the community open. You'd be able to drop your questions, interact with each other, share ideas, and yeah, just drop your questions, answers, and where you can also research, share what you found on the community. We'd be leaving that open at specific times for now. So thanks everyone for tuning in. And it's really great to getting to meet all of you. And over the span of time, I believe we would share and have an amazing journey together. So thanks everyone, and do have an amazing night. Take care of yourselves and see you on the group. Thank you, David. Yeah,
oh
thanks,
yeah, thank you
response.
everyone for tuning in. I'll see you all in the group. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll always respond to that. Um, and yeah, have a wonderful evening, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, Thursday we have Onions Man coming in. Trust me, you don't want to miss Onions Man's class. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So see you on Thursday. Take care of yourselves. Good night. I'm muting the chat.